Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, there lived a poor boy named Arjun. Unlike the other children who played with fancy toys and wore shiny shoes, Arjun's life was filled with chores. His days were spent working in the fields and his nights were filled with tending to his family's flock of sheep. But amidst the drudgery of his daily life, Arjun harbored a secret dream. He yearned to become a runner, to feel the wind beneath his arms and the earth thundering beneath his feet as he raced across open fields. Every morning before sunrise, when the world was still cloaked in slumber, Arjun would slip out of his hut and run. He would dash across the rocky paths that crisscrossed the hillsides, his bare feet pounding the rough terrain. The other villagers, with their fancy leather shoes, would often mock him. They'd jeer and point, calling him the Barefoot Boy, a moniker that stung like a swarm of bees. "Why do you torture yourself, Arjun? You're too poor to be a runner," they'd taunt, their words sharp as knives. "Give up your foolish dream, child. It belongs to the rich who can afford proper shoes and training." But Arjun couldn't bring himself to stop. The thought of giving up his dream was more painful than any wound on his feet. So he trained harder, pushing through the searing pain in his soles and the gnawing doubt in his heart. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the seasons painted the hillsides in hues of gold, red, and then green again. And through it all, Arjun kept running. One day, a traveling merchant, impressed by Arjun's unwavering dedication, gifted him a pair of running shoes. Though worn, they were a lifeline to Arjun's dreams. He wore them day and night, tending to his fields and sheep, his heart soaring with hope. Then one day, a royal proclamation echoed through the village. The king was hosting a grand race, and the winner would receive a handsome prize and the opportunity to serve in the royal court. Runners from far and wide arrived, each adorned in fine clothes and gleaming shoes. There was Tarun, the baker's son, with his golden-hued running shoes. Then Rakesh the cobbler's son, whose shoes were a deep red, the color of courage. And let's not forget Bhim, the blacksmith's son, whose shoes were as sturdy and strong as the man himself. Arjun stood at the starting line, a picture of humility in his worn-out clothes and second-hand shoes. A hush fell over the crowd as the king gave the signal. The runners surged forward, their feet pounding the ground in perfect rhythm. Tarun, with his fancy shoes, took an early lead, followed closely by Rakesh and Bhim. As the race progressed, Arjun stayed focused. He knew his strength lay not in his shoes or his background, but in his indomitable spirit. The cheers of the crowd faded into a distant hum as Arjun entered the final stretch. His feet, toughened by years of running barefoot, ate up the miles. One by one, he overtook the other runners, their shocked faces a blur. In the distance, he saw the finish line, a bright ribbon fluttering in the wind. With a final burst of speed, Arjun crossed the line. A stunned silence fell over the crowd. No one had expected the barefoot boy to win. A slow clap broke the silence, then another and another until the entire crowd was thundering in applause. The king, impressed by Arjun's grit and determination, offered him a place in the royal court. But Arjun, ever humble, politely declined. He knew his place was in the fields and by the side of his family. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, Arjun stood on a hillock overlooking his home. In his hand, he held the worn-out running shoes that had become a symbol of his triumph. He looked at the sky, a canvas of pink and orange, and whispered, "It wasn't my shoes that ran this race. It was my belief." And so, the tale of Arjun, the barefoot boy who dared to dream, became a legend in the village, a reminder that it doesn't matter where you start or what you lack. With courage, belief, and persistence, you can achieve what others think is impossible. Thank you for listening to this story on Motivoons, the channel where we inspire hearts in light, the path of hope. If this story touched you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Motivoons, and share it with your family and friends. Together, let's spread inspiration across the world.